your new cookbook, Winter in Tuscany, was just released, and in addition to wonderful recipes, photos, and some stories from your life, it really captures winter in Italy. Tell us what inspired you to write this book.
But the reason I wrote this book was because so much of Tuscan cuisine is, I would say, centered around the winter months. That's when the cuisine of this region really comes into its own. Lots of beans, delicious beef stews, kind of libollita is a very famous Tuscan soup, which is very wintry, super cozy. And I just thought it was really important to showcase it.
This recipe is going to make us feel winter. Okay, so talk to me about this sausage and stracchino crostoni. Did I say it right?
Perfecto. This is such a delicious dish. This is a very classic thing that you would get in an enoteca, which is a wine bar in Tuscany, and it's one of those snacks that you have with a glass of wine to line the stomach, that's kind of a bit more substantial than a chip, but also kind of not quite a meal. And it is sweet Italian sausage, I've got two of them here, mixed with this creamy, delicious, soft cheese called stracchino. Now, it's slightly acidic, it's super yummy. If you can't find it, that's totally fine, because you can substitute it for cream cheese and it'll give the same texture and flavour. And this could not be easier. It's toasted bread, stracchino, and sausage. And what we're going to do is we are going to slice one of these sausages open, just lightly, just to get through the skin.
My producer has done that for me because she loves me and she knew I wasn't going to be too excited about that. So, okay, these are ready to go.
Exactly. So then we have that sausage without the skin in this bowl here. And I'm going to mix that. I'm just going to also tip in at the same time the stracchino cheese.
Okay, stracchino with my sausage, and I just mix it in.
You just mix it together with a fork or a spoon or whatever you like, and this is just coming together basically in a delicious, cheesy, meaty paste, which we'll then put onto the toast and bake in the oven to get this kind of delicious, salty, umami, really very, very tasty snack. And if you wanted to, you could add like chopped rosemary or some chili flakes. If you can't find Italian sausage, I would just add loads and loads of freshly ground black pepper, and you'll get the same idea. And now, I think you've got it.
This was really easy. If I could do it, tell me I know it's hard to pick a favorite, but do you have a favorite? Or how about this? The first recipe from your book that someone should try.
Okay, so there's a really fun one called spaghetti all'ubriacona, which means drunkard spaghetti. And now that dish is from a very famous winemaking region of Tuscany called Chianti, and it's how the winemakers used to use up the wine that they couldn't sell. And it was basically by cooking red wine down with onions and bacon and then tossing spaghetti through it. And they even cook the spaghetti in some of the wine, so it kind of gave the pasta this beautiful violet colour. And it's such an unusual, tasty dish and a great way to use up any half bottles of wine you've got knocking around.
Let's talk about the overall approach. So Italy is famous for just simple ingredients cooked well. Quanto basta? Talk to me about that.
Now, quanto basta, which means just as much as you need, is this amazing Italian cooking philosophy. And it's basically all about, so if you have an Italian language cookbook, it won't say you need half a teaspoon of this and a quarter ounce of that. It'll often say just QB, which means quanto basta, as much as you need. Use your common sense, taste as you go, and figure it out. But I just think it's a really lovely sentiment, because it basically means don't stress out too much. Within reason, you can't mess this up as long as you keep an eye on things. Food doesn't need to be stressful. You don't need to kind of get out the measuring spoons or rulers to measure out the tiniest thing. You can kind of chuck it all in, glug of olive oil, big pinch of salt, and it's all going to be okay.
It's funny because this is Italian cooking, and I think of Julia Child cooking in a French style, but the vibe is the same, where you don't sweat every little detail. You just have fun.
Exactly. I think that's so important. Food shouldn't be stressful. It should be about making something delicious with what you have and, having a good time with the people you love.
Well, this is the finished version of your sausage and stracchino crostoni. Should I take a bite?
You buy one too. I think you should. Look, that's bubbly and cheesy and meaty and delicious. I think you must definitely take a bite.
Yours looks amazing. Okay, where can readers buy your new beautiful beautiful, gorgeous new cookbook, Winter in Tuscany?
So it's available in all good bookstores. It's on Barnes & Noble, your local independent bookshops, Amazon. My website will direct you to all these places. But yeah, wherever you normally buy your books, you can get the Winter in Tuscany.
This crostoni is so good. I don't even know. How do I say it's so good in Italian?
È buonissimo.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, Amber Guinness, Winter in Tuscany.
Oh, thanks so much for having me on. Ciao, ciao. Buon appetito.
Ciao.